Just to kind of remind everyone, we're talking about 82,000 pages of emails, where President Biden, at the time, Vice President Biden, used pseudonym emails. So he used fake email addresses, Gmail, emails and stuff to hide things from the American public. And so we FOIA'd all of these records, and we've been trying now for years to get them out. Just recently, we did a quick calculation, and about 99.7 of the documents they've reviewed, they've withheld from us, which means that they are now being withheld from the American public. It's been a slow walk, even under the Trump administration. We're getting all of these other releases of documents, but for some reason, the holdovers at NARA keep digging in, and they don't want these emails out for some reason. And we are determined we are going to get them and see what were they actually talking about. Because as you know, and as you said, it wasn't about grandchildren. It wasn't about cookouts, right? This was key information, government business being done over unsecure email servers.
Yeah, so the National Archives gets these records because Joe Biden thinks the things he transmitted on his email account were government business. And you're saying 99% plus of the documents are being withheld from us in the reviews. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct. And for months, we actually just recently learned that they were subjectively reviewing these, which means that the people, at NARA were looking at them and going, nope, even though this is between, Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, and it hits all of these key words, right? Maybe it talks about Ukraine. It talks about, some of these other key government entities and government transactions that were happening, that they don't think it's relevant. And so they're just going to withhold it. And until the litigation reaches an end, they claim they don't have an obligation to tell us what they're withholding. Normally, you'd have to at least say, it's an email between this person and that person, and it generally dealt with this topic. They're saying they have no obligation to do that. And so we're going to have to go back to the judge here and bring this all to her attention, because the American public needs to know about these documents before it's too late. What damage was done? What national security secrets were possibly disclosed in these? What classified information was disclosed? If we don't see the emails, then we can't actually fix the problems that they created.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And the court system can obviously move this along, but the problem originates with recalcitrant people over there at NARA. If President Trump called you and said, hey, how can I help with more disclosure? How can I increase the transparency? Are there key positions that need to be replaced? What could he do to help?
Yeah, it's the archivist, right? And so we need to see these, the people that are at NARA, where, this is the agency that is responsible for holding our key documents in this country. They need to agree with President Trump's take on transparency. They need to actually get in line with what this administration is doing, which is to tell the American public what the government is doing and was doing, so that we can all make those proper decisions for ourselves, and that they can also know, right? What secrets are actually being withheld from this administration? What is it that they're trying to hide in these documents? And so if I were President Trump, I'd want these documents out just as quickly as possible, because he may need to step into action, right? He needs to know what was emailed about through these pseudonym emails.